Ever since November in the elections for the President of the United States, I'm Canadian, by the way. Uh, you would figure that us Canadians would not really care about the elections in America, but I do really care in a sense because not only was I uh, conceived in America, I feel as though that, because I have friends and close friends in America, that I do feel for them, and also everybody knows relations from Canada and America and sharing a border uh, makes us almost equally um, affected by anything that Mr. Donald Trump decides to do. Um, I really didn't want to do any videos or comments or uh, my opinions on the whole thing. All I know is I spent half of my night watching the election results as they were happening live, and when I went to bed, I noticed that it was pretty much even. And when I woke up the next morning, I found out that Donald Trump was uh, the new, I guess they call him elect president of the United States. Um, I really wasn't too keen on the idea of him becoming president. I mean, I have to admit I used to be a big Donald Trump fan at one point because I really didn't understand his history, and I thought that he came from the bottom and worked his way up. But then I realized, he didn't really start at the bottom. His father gave him $1 million, which he considered a small loan that he used to start a business, and that tells me that he really doesn't know about saving or investing. The only thing he knows is that he has money and he can spend it any which way he wants. He never had to struggle. He never had to budget. Back then, it was much easier. I mean, if you were to think about what $1 million is today, it would probably be at least half a million. I haven't really done the figures, but I'm pretty sure it's at least half a million that can be invested into a business, and that's quite a bit. Just a $50,000 investment into capital would be enough to start a business and be able to last your first year. Um, because you're gaining profits, and usually at least 10 to 15% is profit, and that at least covers anything that is considered an expense for that month, and it goes on for the next 3-4 months, depending on when your fiscal year starts and when it ends, versus what what's going on with the government. Um, I know a thing or two about business, and I know how things work. I know where certain percentages fall and where certain percentages are accounted for, and where they are allocated to in order to balance the budget for the whether you're going by a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. But anyways, I have also found out, throughout time that Donald Trump has been through several bankruptcies, which was his scapegoat to be able to get out of something and be able to count his losses and be able to start up all over again. It's like pressing a reset button each and every time that you screw up, which is something we all wish we could do, but unfortunately we don't have the money, we don't have the capital to be able to do that. You can liquefy assets, and you can take whatever money that you have, and you can claim bankruptcy and be able to take uh, all your liquidations and be able to start all over again. um, Thing is I don't see that happening even in America because he's not dealing with his money now. He can't liquefy anything that he accumulates or anything that he screws up. He won't be able to liquefy it. He won't be able to claim bankruptcy because we all know that you're always going to have a debt as a, if you're a prime minister in Canada or if you're a president in America, it's always going to be considered a debt. You can't really claim bankruptcy as a country unless you pretty much sell all your assets, which is your, all your industries and all your imports. All I have to say about the whole Donald Trump thing is that he only won because of who he was facing up against, and that was Hillary Clinton. She's not really. I'm not trying to, discredit her for anything, but I'm just saying that she is not the best possible candidate to be able to run for president, let alone become president of the United States. And even though I was hoping that she would become president of the United States because I didn't want Donald Trump becoming president, it just didn't happen that way. And it's pretty much, considered, and I hate to say this, but the lesser of two evils, because there's a difference between Donald Trump and there's a difference between Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is stupid smart, and Hillary Clinton is just stupid dumb. And what I mean by that is that I don't mean to be totally unpolitical or unprofessional in this opinion, but I'm just trying to bring myself down to a level that everybody else is at, and where everybody else's thinking is, and where everybody's mentality is the fact that Hillary Clinton does stupid things, and she doesn't know that she's doing stupid things. Like, say for instance, somebody's uneducated, doesn't know what they're doing, or doesn't have a backup plan or anything like that. They do something stupid and they don't realize they did it. They have to be educated on it and be able to move forward, go forward from there. Donald Trump is different. He knows he's being stupid. He knows he's going to do something stupid, but he always has a backup plan. He always has something to be able to back it up. And that is what I consider the lesser evil. You got to have a smart evil rather than somebody who is not as smart, who can be evil but not knowing if she's evil. I don't know if you're with me on this, but I'm pretty sure you understand this coming from anybody who has been through this, whether it be in the service industry or whether it be anybody who works for the government. This is different tactics, different things. But anyways, my point being is he only won because of the fact of Hillary Clinton's history, what her platform was, and what she was planning on doing going forward. It was more like a scale going like one way, like completely. There's a big gap in between, and there really wasn't no level going on here. But with Donald Trump, it's more like it's closing in a little bit, kind of like elasticity with prices. You won't tell the difference really because the gap is so small that you really can't clue in on it. But Donald Trump always keeps things level to a point where there's a gap where you can't really tell. And then when you do tell, he'll lift it up a little bit more. And then he'll lift it down again when you're, he's really smart with that. And I have to admit, it's clever people actually amaze me. And, it's good for him that he has those smarts to be able to do that. But at the same time, his tactics and the way he deals with things and the way he talks is not really political, and it's not really professional. It's more like based on his own opinions, and he goes a little overboard. The only thing that I have to say to you fellow Americans anywhere below our border is that we are with you all the way, and we will support you throughout this difficult time. And to know that Donald Trump cannot go too far with his presidency. I mean, it's his first term, which means that he is pretty much going to be considered on a probationary period, especially with the fact that he doesn't really have the majority of his government anyway. It was a pretty close call with the results, and we just got to take a look at it that way and say, you know what, this is his probationary period. He's got to be good. if he's going to go too far, then there's going to be ramifications that are going to be involved, and he's going to be put on notice. It's 4 years. It's a long 4 years. I know this because, we dealt with the same thing here in Canada when we had a prime minister named Stephen Harper. He was actually gone on for 10 years, so that was a long 10 years. But, when the elections happened and he went in for another 4 years, 4 years can seem long, especially if you're not really, looking forward to everything that they are planning on doing. All I know is it's a pretty long 4 years, but I'm guaranteeing you right now, just based on who his opponent was, what his tactics are, what he's doing at this particular point. He's only been actually president for like 2 weeks, I guess it was. He's not really going to last very long anyway, As soon as his 4 years term is up, if he goes that far, there's no way he's going to win again and he's going to be on for a second term. If he does, then, let lightning strike me once, twice, 3 times. Let an asteroid hit the Earth, I don't think it's going to happen. So the worst case scenario is you'll have to wait 4 years for his term to be over for you to be able to see somebody else come in that might be able to correct whatever he messed up and build America back to the way it was. The last thing I want to say is something I was thinking about yesterday, and that is the fact that Donald Trump doesn't understand a thing about America. He doesn't understand what America's all about. America is everything that comes from the ground up. That means anybody who has worked their butts off as much as they have to build America to what they are today, whether it be blood, sweat, tears, or whether it be sacrifices that they made, this is what made America strong. I don't really know much about the history of America, but what I do know is that there is, how would you say that? I don't know what the saying goes or how it goes, but all I know is that America is a united front who stands up for, equality, being united, helping each other out, regardless. And there's so many people who are refugees that came from other countries back when America was young, when America was almost brand new, and they all helped to build America to what it is today. And Donald Trump, a person who pretty much was handed $1 million to start up a business, which is very easy to do. It can't be that difficult. Anybody who has $1 million can build a business and build an empire, especially back in those days when opportunity was almost endless. If you were to have that $1 million today, or even that 500,000 is what I accumulate or converted to today, chances are he probably would have never made it this far with business, and he probably would have never been known as much as he is today. So all I have to say again is we all have your back, and 4 years is a long time, but wait it out. If you last that long, he will not make it a second term. So that's my opinions on the whole Donald Trump thing. I tried to be as, political and professional as possible. Using the term stupid or dumb is not really a professional term, but I need to sometimes bring my opinions or discussions down to a level that we can understand and be able to put it out there, But thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any suggestions or comments about what I've said today, you can go ahead and do it. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. I take every feedback very seriously, and I do respond with those comments. And if you have any other suggestions that are not related to this video, let me know. If there's anything you want me to discuss or talk about, I'd be happy to do so. And I hope you guys have yourself a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. Bye.